Okay, here we have a typical '05 Ford Explorer car that came into our shop. The customer stated when he brought it in that the check engine light is on. He was told that it needed O2 sensors, as always. And he said that they were replaced about a year ago. So we're going to get a computer. We're going to go into the system, the PCM system, or the onboard computer system of this vehicle. And we're going to see what's going on and advise the customer on what to do. Now I went over and grabbed the Tech Force computer, which is made by O2C. You might have heard of that. They make all the factory tools for pretty much every car out there on the market. This is a universal O2C computer system. As you can see in other of our videos, we have many computers here. You need a lot of different computers to work on the newer cars of today because, as everybody pretty much knows, all cars have computers in them now. For instance, this car has 5 modules in it, which are basically, we call them modules, but they are computers that run the functions of this car. Now, as I said earlier, the customer came in, stated that the check engine light was on. He was told that he needed O2 sensors. We're going to verify that. Okay, as you can see, we have 4 or 5 codes in this thing. A 300, random misfire, a 316, misfire occurred under 1,000 cranking revolutions of the car. I'm not really worried about those. I'm not even really worried about the P1000 at this point. These two down here are what I'm worried about. The lack of heated oxygen sensor bank 1 sensor and the lack heated oxygen sensor bank 2. Basically, a lot of people have a misconception of what the oxygen sensor actually does. They actually call it an oxygen sensor because people actually think it tells the computer how much gas you're using or that kind of stuff. Basically, it's really measuring the oxygen that is in your exhaust system. And it's a vital function to the computer. These 2 codes right here are why the other shop where he took this vehicle told him he needed O2 sensors. We're going to go read some PIDs next. I'm going to turn off the video and we're going to really find out what's going on with this vehicle. Alright, now we're looking at the PIDs in this vehicle. I just wanted to show you real fast. This is only one section of the PCM. There's 2 other sections. There's PCM1 data, PCM2 data, okay, so on. So anyways, what I wanted to show you here is this is all the stuff that's being monitored. Every one of those lines is a sensor in your car. And the data will come up as I'm flicking on them, okay? So I mean, there's an awful lot. Now we're back up to the top. This is actually a graph that I can grab any one of these sensors and I can pull it up and automatically graph it. This is your intake air temperature. So basically, right now this car, you know, about 55 degrees air temperature coming into the air filter assembly. So anyways, we're going to scroll all the way down here. We're going to look at fuel trims and you can see how many there are. We gotta find them here. Sorry. Okay, here you have your fuel trims, and what we're seeing with the fuel trims here is the computer is adding fuel to this vehicle, and that's probably why the O2s are popping up and giving you a code. The O2s, in my opinion, are actually doing what they're supposed to do. They're telling you there's something wrong with the fuel trims. So this car right now is basically using a lot of gas, and we're going to figure out why here in a second. Alright, as you can see, I pulled up both of the O2 sensors and we can clearly see that they are switching. They're going up and down, and the voltage is varying on both of them. This line here shows us a quick view right off the bat. This is our scrinch line. It gives us more data as we go across. If one of these O2s weren't working, you'd have a flat line here, just barely wiggling along, doing its deal. So these O2s are pretty much switching along. I don't think that we have an O2 problem. So let's find out what is going on with this vehicle. Alright, what I suspect going on with this '05 Ford Explorer is a vacuum leak. Well, it has all the indications. We have high fuel trims. The computer's trying to give it more gas because it's sucking more air into the system. Okay, the O2 sensors are switching, and that's what sort of tells us what's going on with this vehicle. So right now I'm going to take some ether, brake clean, carburetor cleaner. You have to make sure we don't have a lot of spark going on and that kind of stuff. And we'll get this taken care of here in a second. Alright, we're spraying a little ether around the intake manifold because Fords pretty much have a known problem for the plastic intake on these vehicles leaking down around the gasket. So let's see if we can't get a change out of the vehicle, and sure enough we just did. So right there is our problem. Right there we found the vacuum leak, and it looks like it's the intake manifold leaking air. So we're going to get together with the customer, give them a written estimate, tell them how much it's going to cost to fix the vehicle and what we found. Hopefully we will do the repair and we will show you the outcome of it. Alright, the customer decided to do the repair on this vehicle. We got it running again, and we're going to go over and look at the data again and see if we took care of the problem. A lot of shops here in Arizona don't go the extra mile and make sure that they made the right repair to a vehicle. You know, here we always double check. We can run force tests through our computer systems. We can check what we did to a vehicle, make sure that we fixed it right the first time for you. That's what separates us from other shops. We have the technology here. I buy all the computers for every one of my employees, and that's what separates us. So let's make sure that we did fix this car correctly before we move on. Alright, here you can see we're back to the database inside Data Engine 1. We had the fuel trims pulled up again, and as you can see, these numbers are going into the negatives now. So we're not 24, 28% positive, bank 1, bank 2 on our fuel trims. We're actually negative. So this means that we did the repair correctly. So we took away the extra air going into the motor, so the computer doesn't have to compensate and add more fuel to the car to compensate for that lean condition. So now we don't have an air leak, our fuel trims are perfect, and this car is fixed. So we know that we fixed this car correctly. We know that the data's good. We know that it didn't need O2 sensors now. And we can positively say that we fixed this car correctly. What this means to you, my customers that come in here, is that we diagnosed the car right, we fixed it right, and we didn't charge you for O2 sensors and then call you back and tell you you have another problem with your car. We fixed it right the first time because we have the technology and the knowledge to do so.